we're gonna get into the other event that's going on this week that I feel like is actually going under the radar, which is fucking crazy. The Super Bowl. Super Bowl 57 will be live from Scottsdale, Arizona. It will be the NFC champion Philadelphia Eagles going up against the AFC champion Kansas City Chiefs, man. This is the third time in the last really since the new millennium that we've had the number one seed and both conferences go head to head with each other. The other two was I think it was Denver and Carolina in 2015, and I think it was 2013. It was the Seahawks and the Broncos, but also number one offense going against the number one defense. By the way, the number one defense has won all three of those matchups by a combined 30 points per game. So that's going to be interesting, man. So I'm going to get into my top three storylines going into the Super Bowl, and I'm going to give my full preview of who I think is going to win the biggest game of the year, man. So let's start with my number three storyline, Andy Reid, man. My guy, Andy Reid. Always been an Andy Reid fan, man. He is in his fourth Super Bowl now. This is his third Super Bowl with the Kansas City Chiefs, and he had one Super Bowl appearance back with the Philadelphia Eagles in 2004, where they lost to the dynasty setting New England Patriots. That was a game that Donovan McNabb quit on the Eagles, and T.O. went out there and balled out. But I digress. This is gonna be a big story because he is already in the Hall of Fame, but he can kind of even get himself his own Hall of Fame room and win two Super Bowl championships by beating a team that he was at. And I think he's the first coach to make the Super Bowl against a team that he spent 10 years against. So this is going to be a fun storyline. Also, the side note storyline, which everybody's making a big deal about, which I really don't care that too much about, but it's a side note, the Kelsey versus Kelsey Bowl with Travis Kelsey versus brother Jason Kelsey. Now, the Kelsey mama has won because of both her boys in the Super Bowl. And honestly, of course, you don't want to see any of your kids lose, but whoever loses this game will be fine because both of the Kelsey brothers are Super Bowl champions. Jason Kelsey won 5 years ago with the Eagles, and of course, we all know about the Chiefs winning 3 years ago. So the loser of this, of course, he's going to be hurt, but ultimately he'll be fine because he's the Super Bowl champion. So that's one. Number two is Patrick Mahomes' legacy. And we're already talking about legacy with this kid. He's only in his fifth season. He has been to the AFC Championship game 5 years in a row. This is his third Super Bowl appearance. Everybody, like I said on the show last week, it's going to be hard to catch Brady, in rings. But if he wants to have a chance to catch Tom Brady with rings, he has to win this one by getting his second when he's 27 years old. We can always say with Brady won so fast, winning 3 championships in his first 5 seasons. He went a whole ass decade without winning one. So you can never just rely on just your dominance in the NFL. So if he wants to have a chance to be even close to Brady's 7 rings, he's got to win this one. And if he wins this, I'm pretty sure he's going to be named league MVP tonight with the NFL honors being taped, and I think they'll be shown on Saturday. So I think he'll be named MVP this week. This weekend, he'll be a 2-time MVP, 2-time Super Bowl champion. If he wins Super Bowl MVP, 2-time MVP, now he's already putting himself in the elite class with only 5 years into his career. So I feel like legacy-wise that this is going to be something to watch. And also legacy-wise because if he loses, now you're 1-2 in the Super Bowl. I know it's crazy when you talk about somebody as great as Pat that we bring something against him, but at the end of the day, like my man Herm Edwards said, you play to win the game. And if he loses 2 Super Bowl championships, that's going to be a different discussion too. So I really think Patrick Mahomes' legacy, it's on the line. It's way too early for anything being on the line, but he can definitely enhance it this week. And it can take a small hit this weekend as well. But the number one storyline here is black people. We got 2 black starting quarterbacks in the Super Bowl for the first time in NFL history. Of course, we know about 16 years ago, it was the first black head coach Super Bowl with Tony Dungy and my Bears, Lovie Smith. We're not going to get into that game ended, but this is big history here. And I was tired about the debate I've seen on Twitter. Is Patrick Mahomes really black? He has a black father. Shut your mouth. He's black. He's also been claiming it. I'm glad that he hasn't run away from the issue. He even talked about it with Michael Irvin doing NFL Super Bowl Media Day this week, saying that, he loves to carry on this tradition. He's feeling good about representing his people, and also gave a big shout out to, guys like Warren Moon and Doug Williams and all the great black quarterbacks, man. And I just think that's going to be a great storyline, a great way to bring in, Black History Month. I think it's going to be fire. You have two guys that, not only are great quarterbacks, but just great dudes in Patrick Mahomes and Jalen Hurts, man. So those are the three big storylines I'm looking for in this game, coming into this game. Now, let's get into the actual preview, man. I've got 5 things about how this game, how both these teams can win. I think the main battle here in the Super Bowl is the battle of the trenches, man. I think that's been the main storyline, not just in this Super Bowl, but the entire NFL playoffs in the AFC and the NFC, is winning the trenches battle with the offensive line and defensive line. You got a great offensive line for the Philadelphia Eagles and a pretty good offensive line for the Kansas City Chiefs. But the battle here is the defensive line for the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, the Chiefs have a decent line, Clark, my man Jones, all those guys, they have been playing really good ball and really got to Joe Burrow 2 weeks ago. Now, the difference is, even when healthy, now we all know the Bengals were missing 3 starting offensive linemen 2 weeks ago, and that's why Joe Burrow got sacked all those times. But even when healthy, that Bengals line is not touching this offensive line that the Philadelphia Eagles have with the Lane Johnson, with the Jason Kelsey. They just got dogs on that front line, as well as they have on the defensive line. Now, the last time the Chiefs won the Super Bowl, they got blown out by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers because of the Tampa Bay defense. The quick-speeded linebackers and defensive line got to Patrick Mahomes, made his life a living hell. And I feel like the blueprint to beating Patrick Mahomes is sort of like the same blueprint to beating Tom Brady. If you can put him on his ass, you can beat him. And this is the defensive line for the Eagles, who has 70 sacks this season, which is 3rd all time. So if you can get guys like, Hassan Riddick and guys like Brandon Graham, who can get to Patrick Mahomes, that is the best way for the Philadelphia Eagles to win this game. So that's something I'm going to be looking at. The number one thing here for the Kansas City Chiefs, they've got to stop the run. They got to stop Miles Sanders from getting busy. They got to stop that entire running offense, Jalen Hurts, and everything that, Nick Sirianni has calls over there. And they need to make this game to make Jalen Hurts throw the football. Now, I'm not saying that to be disrespectful. A lot of people, when they say you got to make him throw the football, make it seem like he's bad. No, Jalen Hurts can make throws. But the strength of Jalen Hurts is when the offense is flowing in general, when the running game is going. So they need to make Jalen Hurts one-dimensional and make him be in a shootout with Patrick Mahomes. That's what really put this in the Chiefs' favor, because if you're going into a shootout, it's great to have the guy who's got the biggest gun, and that is Patrick Mahomes, man. So that's the number one key for me for the Chiefs defensively, is to slow down that Philadelphia Eagles run game. And back to my third thing goes back to Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts has got to be great on 3rd down. Now, he's been good on 3rd down these playoffs. He's been good on 3rd down all season. That is a trend that needs to continue in this game, because one thing you cannot do, leave points on the board when you're going against the Kansas City Chiefs. So they need to be able to, Jalen has to be efficient, whether it's running or whether it's passing, to make sure he's good on 3rd down. They're going to do what they're going to try to do to try to take A.J. Brown and Devonta Smith out of this game. I do think Dallas Goedert is going to be a big X factor here in this game to be able to get this going. So I really feel like you got to be accurate on 3rd down for them to win this football game. And another thing here, Eagles got to win the turnover battle. When you're going up against a guy like Patrick Mahomes, you got to give him to turn the ball over to give yourself more of a chance. If you look at the times that Patrick Mahomes has lost playoff games, he's only lost 3 of them. But the 3 times that he's lost, he has turned the ball over. So in order for them to win that, they've got to do this. The Eagles have a very great secondary. They've had 17 interceptions this year. They've got a really good defense in general. The number one defense of football right now, and that's going to be key. But the X factor here, not just for the Eagles, but also for the Kansas City Chiefs, is Mr. Travis Kelce, man. Travis Kelce just seems to be open all of the fucking time. This Eagles defense cannot allow that. You cannot allow Travis Kelce to be open and get busy like he did 2 weeks ago in the AFC Championship game. We had 8 receptions, 78 yards, and a touchdown. If they can slow him down, if they can take him out of this football game and make guys, like Marquez Valdez-Scantling, guys like Juju Smith-Schuster beat you, you give yourself a much better opportunity. If you're the Chiefs, if you keep feeding it to him, that opens up everything for your offense, man. And I do think that those are the keys for both of these teams to win. Now, as far as my prediction, I think this is going to be a phenomenal high-scoring game. And like I said, the last couple times that the number one scoring defense went against the number one scoring offense, this number one scoring defense has won both times. Of course, we can never forget about the Legion of Boom, straight up taking out Peyton Manning and um, Denver Broncos offense. And of course, also happened with the Chiefs a couple years ago. The number one defense of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers took Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs out of it, man. So I do think roster by roster, the Eagles have the better roster. I would not be stunned if they win this game by double digits. Having said all of that, one thing I am never doing, and I said last week that I'm officially giving Patrick Mahomes the Tom Brady treatment. He could lose. He's lost Super Bowl before, but I gotta see it. I am picking the Kansas City Chiefs to win this one. It kind of feels like they're the underdog going into this game. From everything I've read, and seen on TV, that a lot of people are going with the Philadelphia Eagles. Going to take the Kansas City Chiefs in a high-scoring affair. I think this will be settled by a field goal. I will not be surprised if this game goes to overtime to make it only the second game in Super Bowl history that went to overtime. Of course, the first one was the historic 28-3 comeback by the New England Patriots against the Atlanta Falcons. Sorry, Atlanta sports fans, if you don't want to relive that. But I'm going to have the Chiefs winning this one 37 to the Eagles 34 with a game-winning field goal. And Mr. Patrick Mahomes will win his second Super Bowl MVP after he wins the second league MVP this weekend. But I think this is going to be a phenomenal game. I cannot wait to watch this on Sunday. And, of course,